Elijah One.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Coaching the Culture podcast.
Focus moving upward, can't be boasting about these vultures. Get negativity ocean. We just coaching up the culture. This for my sisters and brothers, stepdaddies and single mothers. Every topic we gon' cover, we just coaching up the culture. Coaching the culture, coaching the culture, coaching the culture, coaching the culture, coaching the culture.
So look, another thing we're talking about sports culture. It's huge in basketball for sure. Training, individual trainer or trainers, right? How do you see? Because I believe it could be a gift and a curse. So how do you see training playing a part in the development with kids in basketball today?
Coach, I reflect on this all the time, like every year, and it changes for me. I just thought of this. So 7 of the last NBA MVPs are international.
International. Yep.
I had an opportunity to see some international workouts, and it's different from the way we work out. Totally different. Like they're drilling actions. Like you're just not
Reads.
right. You're just not coming off here inside foot shot. No, that's.
Right.
You come and set a pin down. After you set this pin down, you come back up. Now you come off a flex. Now you come inside foot,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
they're teaching actions. And one thing I also noticed, there's no cones in their workouts, right? Those cones,
Wow.
those cones don't move,
They don't move,
right?
But they move in the game.
Right. So I've always said that we have to go back to training actions, multiple actions. Throw the cones out the window, throw all the chairs, throw all that stuff out the window, and teach the game through your training.
Yes.
Because international, they winning.
And that is like you saying that makes me realize even more. Oh, so they're learning
That's
in
right.
the training.
There you go. Yeah.
Game concepts, game situation. I know I got to the point to where I started, doing more game realistic stuff. Now I do believe that, depending on where the kid is at, you have to tailor that training to them. But for me, in my opinion, if you in the gym and it's just you, it's individual training, you ball, it's a gift and a curse, I think, especially in high school. Now, when you young, develop, about anything goes in training because you got to get your skill up. But you can see the kids that's been training with a trainer in high school because without the ball, they dead. They don't know how to move without it. They don't know how to do anything without the ball. And when they do got the ball, they dribbling the heck out that thing like they freaking Luka Doncic or something.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that does not translate.
I had a kid a couple years ago who he would, what you define as a gym rat, he picked the lock at his school every morning, broke in the gym, and got shots up. Okay, then we'll go through school, have practice, go home, eat dinner, and then worked out with a trainer every night. So he's getting shots multiple times. Did not know how to play basketball. We get in the game, somebody's dribbling at him, he don't understand slide away to get a shot,
Right.
any of that stuff, right? Because
Right.
we talked about, like, unless he had that ball in his hand and there was tennis balls and all this other stuff going on, he was ineffective. Now, when we get in the ball, he could score, he could do a bunch of stuff, but he did not know how to play basketball. I think the training aspect of it, like a lot of people blame AAU for why basketball is ruined. I lean more towards training, individual training, because we've got more skilled guys, yes, but we have lower IQ guys, right?
Right.
So guys can do a lot more things with the basketball, but do not understand how to play, right? There was a time where you go to the Y, you go to the park, you figured out how to play because you're playing with the grown men, and if you made a mistake,
That's right.
you was out. You wasn't playing. Right? So if you didn't guard, if you didn't set a screen for somebody else, a back door for somebody, your butt was sitting.
Yeah.
That is gone now, right? And so, like the European model, they're teaching them how to play, right? Teaching you reads and things like that.
Yeah.
Now, these guys don't understand reads, right? And that's kind of because we have this training culture. Instead of guys going to the gym and playing with each other, it's very self-driven, and that's just the culture we live in general, right? We're the cell phone era. So these kids, I see it with the teams. They spend so much time on their phone. We get them together, they don't talk to each other.
They don't talk. Put them in the same room, they
won't say nothing.
Yep.
We did like a pizza party last year. Like, not a pizza party, but like, hey man, the playoffs is on. We ordering pizzas. Come hang out. and like dudes wasn't talking. I'm like, what y'all doing?
On that phone.
But it's just, you know, it's an isolated
Right.
kind of environment. So you're doing that, and then you go work out by yourself, and then you're gonna throw you in here with a team,
Yep.
and now all of a sudden this is supposed to work together. It's tough.
Yep.
Really tough.
And a lot of parents push individuality, right?
Absolutely.
A lot. So, but what you just said something that's crazy. We didn't have training back in the day.
No.
We didn't have training. You know what my trainer was? NBA on NBC. I promise. I would watch it and I'd see something. I'd go outside and practice it.
Yep.
That was my trainer. Like I ain't, you know, and there are some good trainers out here.
Yeah, for sure.
But I say this to the parents, just for advice. If your kid is in high school and you got a trainer, two things. One, if they're not asking you what type of system your high school coach runs and what are they training them on. I had a trainer. No, he didn't call me. He messaged me on Facebook or something and said, "Hey, coach, you got to let such and such go. I teach him to do X, Y, and Z." I said, "Bro, don't ever text me nothing like that. If you want to talk to me or something, you can pick up the phone, call me, gave him my number. You know, of course he didn't call, but like I wasn't even going to respond to that. Like that just sounds crazy to me. Like you're telling me. So one, if they're not, if you training with somebody consistently, I'm talking about like you 3 days a week and y'all been doing it for 6 months to a year. If they ain't asking about the high school program and what type of system they run, that's a red flag too. If they not showing up to your games,
absolutely,
and watching and seeing, oh, he needs to work on this, he needs to work on that. Then what? Then you might just be getting your money took. But there are some good trainers out here. But to that point, here recently in today's culture, AAU and trainers have taken precedence over high school ball.
absolutely.
And why is that, or what is the effect of that?
It's tough for me because I'm on both sides. I see the value in both.
Yep.
Don't have a good answer why that is. I think high school is trying to do a better job of getting back. I think at one point they left the kid alone. Okay, here's May, school's out, go do your thing, and the high school coach took that time off. But I see now more high school coaches are getting involved with AAU. A lot of them are getting involved with AAU.
Yeah, I see that.
And even you have your live period now for high school sports. So you know what I mean. So I think they see that high school coaches got to touch these kids year round.
Yeah.
So why that is, I don't know, but I do see value in both.
But the reason AAU is just shot up as far as the importance ladder is it's a one-stop shop, right? And so for a college coach to come in to an event and see Johnny play 4 times in a weekend, whereas if he goes to his high school game and he might be playing the worst team in the conference on the Tuesday night, that's a lot to be trying to go back and forth to do. So this the one-stop shop thing is why it is. The other piece is on better teams, guys are playing their true position. So I remember I had a high school coach call me about a kid. Hey man, I got this 6'6" kid, man, he's really good, you guys should take him. And I'm like, I'm looking, he's a 6'6" center on their team. I don't need no 6'6" center, and no Division I know needs a 6'6" center, right? Well, he comes to tryouts and he really has perimeter skills. He's a 3. He played a 3 for me and goes to college, right? Whereas if it was just his high school, because of necessity, where he lives, we across the street from Harding. Ain't no footers just walking around Allegheny right now, right? And so out of necessity, sometimes guys have to play in a certain thing. Additionally, high school was designed, all right, guys are trying to win their conference, get to a state tournament. It's not an exposure play, right? So what you're trying to get off and show is really not that important. I'm trying to win the game, right? Whereas on the travel scene, it's a little different. I can take a loss if I'm letting Johnny be out there on the perimeter at 6'7" and shoot a 3, just because if he hits 1 or 2, that's going to change his trajectory where he's at, right? So it's just give and take. But like you said, like high schools are getting more involved. I think the smart high school coaches have a pulse on where their guys are playing, making sure they're guiding them in the right spots, all that kind of stuff, giving them real good information and helping develop. The problem you have in the high school side is, and you know this as an AD, is a lot of majority of these high school coaches are not basketball dudes, right? It's the math teacher, it's somebody helping out. I had a kid from the eastern part of the state. He said, "Coach, we never we never been to any kind of camps. We don't do any summer workouts. We just play in the season because he's a football offensive coordinator. He's just helping out." And so all his whatever he was getting was from us. I remember we're doing a drill and he catches the ball, he's not ready to shoot. I said, "Yo, be shot ready." And he looked at me. I said, "Have you ever heard the term shot ready?"
Right.
"No, sir." I said, "Well, you ain't had to tell me be shot ready coming up, right?" But like, you know what I mean, just teaching him certain terms, you know, it's just tough. Like, it's few and far between the good high school coaches, and it's tough, you know.
So do you think one is more important than the other, AAU or school ball?
AAU, I would say right now, if for recruitment purposes, right now, yeah, you can go homeschool and play AAU and get recruited. You cannot not play AAU and get recruited and just play your high school team. That's real tough.
I think they're equally important. And the reason why I say that, you alluded to it earlier, like the whole athlete. You know what I mean? So not very many AAU coaches know their athletes' core GPA. Not very many asking for transcripts.
Yep.
So you know what I mean, if you can get with a club that's requesting transcripts, I think that's a win. That's one you gotta stick with. But the high school coach typically is the one that's seeing that entire athlete. You know, what is he doing in class?
Right.
You know what I mean? What mama and daddy situation is like you mentioned earlier. I mean, one of the kids you coach, you never met their parents.
Right.
High school, that probably wouldn't be the case.
Right.
So it's tough. I think I like the space we're in where we kind of, you got the high school coach now going over to the AAU side. I think West Meck just got a AAU coach. Chris is now coaching over there. So you see more high school coaches now becoming AAU, and also you see the guys that's been in it that's not on the AAU side. They're kind of weaning themselves out because it's a grind.
It is.
You know, it's different now. It's a grind. East Meck, just Buzzard from East Meck just stepped down. So you know what I mean. So it's definitely a grind.
Yeah. I definitely think it should be a marriage. With the trainer, the AAU and the school team. But I think to your point, Sam, what you said, as far as there being so many few and far between real coaches or good coaches, that there's been a lack of trust from coaches. Because in my standpoint, I got all time. I done trained. I done coached AAU. We did it all in the same year. We coached school ball, and I've built so many connections. I can point a kid in the right direction. I can tell you, this training right here is good. Go to this AAU program right here. So to kind of bring up my next point, because consistency is key. I think where a lot of players and parents mess up is this whole transferring thing. Like, if you have a solid now, of course, sometimes you need to transfer. It's needed, right? Because the situation just ain't good. But a lot of times, if you got a solid coach, you need to master his system. Whatever it is, whether you agree with it or not, master his system, learn his system. Because what I tell people all the time is that when you transfer, you basically starting over. And how good is your kid? Like, do they pick up on things real quick, or they learning curve? So a lot of times you transfer kids to their senior year, you killing them because they don't know how to adapt or adjust quick enough to be successful their senior year. So even if you think if the coach, if all he does is ball screen all day long, and you did 4 years worth of ball screen, we could find a program that all they do is ball screen, and you can be a master in that ball screen. But when you don't, it's like having a balanced diet. When you don't, and you eating off different plates, you become a jack of all trades and a master of none. And we all know that on the next level, Division I, they're looking for specialists. They're looking for, can you shoot the ball? Can you shoot the leather off that thing? Can you defend 94 feet? So you kind of get that transfer. So that's the next thing. That's a big part of the culture right now is transfer portal. And this is the reason why a lot of kids get stuck in that portal. A lot of kids get stuck because maybe it takes away from the grind. It takes away from trusting the process. Like I said, sometimes it's necessary, but most times you just need to figure that thing out.
Yeah, yeah.
I've talked to HBCU, CIAA, and he was calling about a kid, and I thought maybe he was calling to see what summer kids we had. Mm-hmm. So he said, "No, coach, I'm not recruiting any high school kids. Now this is HBCU, CIAA."
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So going back to your point, it's tough. We tell our guys right now, we got to come up with a 2-year or 3-year plan.
Yeah.
You know, it probably won't be you graduated from high school. We said this.
Yep.
Won't be you graduated from high school going to play college, basketball. So think about your 2-year, 3-year plan, because it may take 2 or 3 years.
And if you really love it, if you really want to grind, you'll do it. You know, it's a grind. You can't, today's parenting culture is preventing our kids from certain things instead of preparing them for certain things. Mm-hmm. And so we don't necessarily do a great job at preparing because we don't want them to get hurt or we don't want them to fail, right? And failure is what creates success, right? The more you fail, the closer you can get to success. I had a parent that, I had reached out, same thing this year, reached out to a couple of schools for my seniors, and they all said the same thing. We're not taking any high school kids this year. Mm-hmm. And so I told the parent, hey, I done reached out to a couple of Division IIs and, but I said most of the guys I know, coaches I know, are Division I. I said, so, I hadn't reached out to those. But, my kids, why not? My kid. Well, there's a reason why, I know what level he can play on. I'm not going to, because the other thing they got to understand is this is relationships. Mm-hmm. If I waste a call and they take a chance or they even come and see him, or if I send them film and I waste 5 minutes of their time, they might not pick that phone up the next time I call them.
Right. You done cry wolf.
Yeah. You on ice now.
Yeah, nah. Mm-hmm.
So, that thing is, that transfer thing is, I just really wish that, kids will figure it out, man. Shout out to one of my kids, Jalen Sims, who just got a contract with the Charlotte Hornets. He'd been on the G League on the Swarm for 2 years, but he went to UNC Wilmington, stayed there for 4 years, mastered that system, ended up averaging 20-something points his senior year, junior and senior year. But that's just a testament of just, staying put and doing what you need to do and just grind it, man. Just grind it.
Tough thing with the portal at the college level, speaking about like a college player, is that money's real.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
yeah.
I was at the Final Four and with a buddy of mine, he was like, man, how real is this NIL and this money? And we were checking in our hotel room and a SEC coach comes up. I was like, Sam, what's up, man? How much for so-and-so? That was the first thing out of his mouth. How much for so-and-so? And I said, that's how real it is.
Yeah.
Right? And so it makes it tough. Like I get like being involving a system and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of time this is the most money any of these dudes are ever going to see.
That's a fact.
It's a small amount of guys that are going to the league. Yeah. And so capitalize on when you can, if it makes sense. A lot of dudes are getting bad advice. Jump in, you're going to get $1 million, da-da-da-da-da. That's really not it for everybody. But there's certain dudes that if you are producing at a UNC Wilmington, at a Queens, there's a kid that went to a Division II. I think he just transferred to a SEC school for $450, right away. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I tell kids too, like, go play your way. So there was a kid, Karan Boyd. Karan played at Cox Mill, came and played for us. Not the best jump shooter, but defends his tail off. Yeah. Athletic defense. He goes to USC Aiken, plays there, transfers out to East Tennessee State, plays at East Tennessee State. Now he's going to Wichita State. Now this level, he's transferring, but he's chasing a certain thing. Yeah. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, he's going to play at Wichita State, which is a great basketball tradition. Yep. They put some money in his pocket. He can help with his family, that type of stuff. So I get
now transferring on the college level. I get it. Different. Yeah. Go get your money. I understand. But let's talk about that real quick, and then I got one more topic I want to kind of cover before we go. But so when you talk about transfer, especially on on every level, but definitely on that college level. I mean, shoot, just within my last 4 years of coaching high school basketball, I had over 17 transfers, kids that come in and leave. But how tough is that as a coach on a college level? So now you got, like I talked to Coach Dinkins at UNC Charlotte, and last year they top three players they lost to transfer, because it's like, so if you get a kid and you develop them and they have a good season,
Yeah,
they're gone.
they are.
So like, how tough is that to coach in that type of situation where you don't even know if you're gonna keep your kid? You got to recruit your own kids first, make sure they're gonna stay.
It's not even that. It's not even a recruit. It's really dollars and cents thing.
That's it.
So
You ain't
like,
got the money.
if you ain't got the money, and like I had these conversations with dudes. Like we have 14 dudes in the portal that have played for us. So I'm taking the calls. Like on the way here, I'm talking to UNC Greensboro. I'm trying to get to the last spot. And if you know that your situation is that you don't have the money, you can't afford to do all this stuff, like treat it as a launching pad. Hey man, come over here, get off, help us get to the tournament, whatever. Because they all chasing new jobs, right?
Yeah.
So like, you get to the next spot, I get to my next spot. That's how I view like some of the low major spots.
So you really got to look at it like year to year now.
Oh,
Has to be,
absolutely.
yeah.
So you can't even look at it 3 to 4 no more.
Nah.
It's year to year, not even 2.
Absolutely, absolutely. John Richardson from Elizabeth City State called about a kid, and that was his approach.
Yeah.
He's like, help us get this kid. We just want him for 1 year. I'll help him. I'll help him get where he wants to go. Like, I'll help him through his connections. So yeah, it's all annual now.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I decided to step away from it, because just, and this is the next segment, topic we're going to talk about, but, and we all went through this. I stopped, man, when I was at Kennedy Charter, after Kennedy Charter, I stopped wanting to coach basketball, and I started wanting to build a program. Like, it's a difference. Like, I don't want to coach the sport no more. I want to build a program. And all 3 of us have built programs. Let's talk about the transition or the difference in coaching and then building a program. So we both are athletic directors, so now we overseeing multiple programs. But like from the basketball standpoint, you've built several programs. I mean, with Team Curry and now Top Shot. What goes into it? What's the ins and outs? What's the how did you get there? I'm sure that we all probably arrived similar after coaching for so long. But let's talk a little bit about building a program and what it takes.
Right. I was reading the other day, and it was about building wealth, and they were talking about like the Fortune 500 guys, like their mind is different.
Yeah.
So instead of managing, now you go to leading, and you put people in place to lead. I went to, I think I was in Greensboro somewhere, but it was a what was it? It was a chicken place. But anyway, walked in, there was a guy on picture frame there, young guy. I was like, man, he's the owner. You know how they have the owner there. So I went up to order. It was the same guy there. So I was impressed. A young guy, maybe early 30s. He owned Zaxby's.
Okay.
He owned Zaxby's. Talking to him, asking him a whole bunch of questions, of course. And I left with 2 things he shared with me that I'll never forget. I live by it today. Gauge and engage, right? So first you have to gauge your program and then engage people to run your program. You have to leave some, you can't do it, you can't touch it, right? You got to trust that person is going to take it and go from there. When we first got to Harding, I came up with a strategic plan, and I knew that my first 2 years would be different from the latter.
Yeah.
So the first 2 years, our goal was just expand. We're trying to go broad, right? So we added swimming, then we added tennis. Those sports didn't exist at Harding before. So now we're trying to go deep.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're broad. Now we got to go deep. Now we got to win. We got to compete now.
Right.
So I gotta engage the right people that's going to help us win games. So I think just from a wealth perspective and from a program perspective, I think all those wealthy people, they're not touching things physically. They're somewhere else thinking of the strategic plan,
Right.
and they're getting people in place to lead their plan. So That's what we're doing now. I think that's what we always done where we were at Kennedy and Waddell. Like, I trusted you to do your thing with your guys. I didn't touch it. I want people to be innovative, and you got to walk away and just gauge the person, make sure you got the right person in place, and then just empower them to do it.
With that being said, Coach, how hard is it to find good people to be under you? Like, now I am gonna toot my own horn. I was one of the best assistants. Like,
Absolutely.
I did not try to overstep. I wasn't trying to take your job. Whatever coach needed, I was there. I was learning. I was happy with my role. As a head coach, I've looked for that same energy. It's hard to find. You got a lot of people that want to, be you, want to take your job. You talk about you behind your back. It's a lot of shiesty stuff, that can kind of go on, and you're just looking for like-minded people, So how hard is it to find that?
It's hard, Coach. It's hard. I think either you're gonna coach them up or coach them out. You know what I mean? So I think you got to just trust God, and if they're not doing what they should do or supposed to do, just coach them out.
Yeah.
It's not working, because at the end of the day, it's about those babies, it's about those kids.
That's it.
So if you're not gauging and engaging, then you're hurting kids, and we can't do that.
I think you got to be open to getting burnt. You're gonna get burnt.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I can't, like you say, micromanage you out of fear. No, because it's not gonna grow. I gotta allow somebody, So I'm taking a chance, knowing that it could possibly go left, but I got to give you a little bit of rope, kind of see what you do with it. Either you're gonna make something constructive out of it, or you're gonna hang yourself, one or the other.
Get rid of them, then.
Yep. Then you just keep running, you just keep moving, right?
That's it.
What about, so you running a big organization? I mean, y'all got multiple age groups, and you had it on both the girls and the boys side with Team Courage. So how was that process to find coaches, to find like-minded people that understood the vision, the goal, the mission, and was able to implement that and keep that? Because our PSB or Team Courage, whatever, y'all were very uniform. Y'all looked like. How did you get that accomplished?
So number one, I'm extremely protective over our culture, like who we are.
Yeah.
So to get into it, I have to vet you. I have to make sure that you are like-minded like the rest of the dudes that we have, right? Not the same, right? Not all the same people, but we need to be walking in sync. And so, I've been fortunate. We've had the same dudes with us for 10 years, right?
Wow.
And so, just like what you mentioned, there's no stepping on each other's toes. Everybody, we're lockstep. We're communicating all the time. There's certain things you're just looking for people that want to be a part of the right things and do it the right way. If you're interested in doing other stuff that doesn't jive with us, it's very easy to suss it out and sniff it out. But yeah, culture is a big thing. We're, like I said before, we're about producing, sending the dudes to college, helping guys get better, all those things. If that's what you're into, we're the right spot. But if you're talking about pros and different stuff like that, that's not my play. I haven't had a pro yet, right? That's not what I'm talking to parents about. And so it's just understanding that. That's where I've probably gone to bat when I was at PSB, and we had some. I remember PSB was like, man, y'all got a lot of staff, man. Y'all got more staff than anybody we got. You got to cut down. I was like, I'm not cutting. I'll take a pay cut,
right,
so I can keep these dudes, because these guys work really well. That kind of stuff. So on the flip side of it, coach them out, I fight hard to keep guys here, make sure they're taken care of. You need something, I got one guy he lives in Greenville, South Carolina, that comes. Another guy lives in Knoxville, Tennessee, that comes, right? And it's like, okay, you come down, I got you in the hotel. I got you, my guy in Greenville, he's a high school coach. What you doing for the summer? Oh, I'm trying to figure it out. Cool. I know Furman and Wofford, they're doing camp. You can work camp, make some money. That type of stuff is not just surface level. We're taking care of each other. It's like a family type of thing. So that's just for me. That's what I've been about. With the new program, I do have to be a little bit more hands-on, watching them. I went and watched our 5th grade team on Sunday. We wasn't playing, popped in on them. So, okay, cool. We need to put on some new stuff for the zone 2-3. I need to talk to their coach. You know what I mean?
do you do a coach's clinic?
We will be doing a coaches clinic, actually. Something I need to get with you about, man.
Come speak. Give me 20 minutes or whatever.
I got to plug it. September 13th. We have this is our 2nd year with the coaches clinic. Heads up, so we'll definitely be able to collaborate some kind of way and
that's
put
good,
all this
yeah.
together. So
Absolutely. So you talk about like-minded people. That's one thing. Finding people that schedule will allow them to do, because this
Yeah.
joint is a grind.
Yeah.
I mean, you really got to either be an entrepreneur, work third shift.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta have single, like you know what I'm saying. Like it really is a grind. So like trying to weed out that and then find that, and then also too nowadays. I mean, I get a lot of people like, "Oh, how much you paying?" Bro,
Oh, yeah.
you in it for money, bro.
Yeah.
this ain't the lane, you know. So that causes some type of difficulty in finding people to hold your arms up and carry out your vision too.
Yeah.
But we're all in the same space right now, just trying to using our experience that we have to help coaches that's coming up. That's where my pivot is right now, and help parents, help everybody, man. But one thing for sure, two things for certain is that I sleep well at night because I don't lie to nobody, man. You know what I'm saying? I can't lie to you and make it look fly to you. I got to tell you the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think we all have that in common, and we're gonna try to keep that up. But as we wrap up, man, and we ain't gonna spend a lot of time on this. I'm just touching it. I might bring y'all back for this, but I said I was gonna ask every basketball coach and personnel that I bring in here this question: who is your GOAT? Greatest of all time.
come on, cause it's not a discussion.
You ain't even gotta say the name.
Come on, look, come on,
Who?
come on,
You didn't say.
come on.
Did you say LeBron? I about to say.
Nah, Jordan. You got to go with Jordan.
I feel like Sam's gonna go a different way, man.
He'll go with Kobe probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Kobe. I'm gonna go Kobe. Not like obviously grew up watching Michael,
Yeah.
and then really was interested, like really followed Kobe. I remember we had our first Team Curry workout. We're at Charlotte Latin having a workout in the news. One of the dads like, "Hey man, you heard about Kobe?" And I was like, "Huh? Yeah." And then somebody else, "You heard about Kobe?" And we just froze.
Yeah. I thought it was fake.
And I was like, "No way!" And my stomach dropped. We had 100 kids in the gym, and I was like, "I don't know if this means anything to y'all, but like, this is serious."
Yeah.
So that for me, he was definitely instrumental in just basketball culture. I think Michael's the first, but for me, I really appreciated what Kobe did for the game. And then I also liked the Mamba era. Like he
Mentality.
had two different phases of his career that was like he was a killer, And so that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm like, man, get that Mamba mentality, man.
So look, I know it's probably too early to tell, but I gotta ask y'all this before we go. SGA. What chances does he have to become the greatest of all time?
Of all time?
I don't know if there's been many people to average over 30 points as a guard and shoot 50% from the field. I mean, he's so poised. He scores so effortlessly.
Slivery.
He's so good.
Slivery, man. He goes.
He's good.
How'd he get through that?
Yeah,
His
Very
pace,
Yeah.
his control, he's good.
You're not gonna speed him up.
it is too early because, like you already know this. We got to see consistent,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
But like if he can continue that and then evolve, right? Because at some point you ain't gonna jump as high, you're not gonna be as fast, and if he evolves and continues, like, and then gets a couple rings with it, then he'll be in that conversation. But he's one of them ones. The tough thing is like staying injury free, right? Because we talked about this. Remember Penny?
Yeah.
Remember Grant Hill? I remember we had those conversations. Who
That's
was the
why it's too
next?
early.
Yeah, it's just it's way too early, man.
Yeah, that's true. Because I'm hoping he stay healthy. But he need to take a page out of LeBron book and figure out what it is he's doing to keep his body and spend that $2 million a year on your body. Right now, it's an investment. But to your point, like he doesn't use a lot of athleticism, which is why I think he'll last a long time.
Yeah.
How much is he eligible for this year?
So I don't know.
Is it something like 76 million a year or
He
something
gonna
crazy?
get every penny,
Every dollar.
whatever it is. He gonna get
crazy.
every penny. But hey, fellas, man, thank y'all so much for coming, man. It probably won't be the last time. We got a lot, that we can cover, we can talk about. Once again, this episode is brought to you by SL Media. Please look her up on Instagram. It's sl.media_ for all of your photography and videography needs. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. What other topics would you like to hear us talk about? And please stay tuned to Coaching the Culture podcast for your next episode. Peace.
Coaching the culture, 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 coaching the culture.